Hello YouTube, hello guys, welcome to another exciting day. Welcome to my channel, welcome to YJ Digital World. I remain your host Agu Joseph. So guys, on this tutorial video I'll be recreating this flyer design in my own way, to be precise. Okay, one of the major problem I noticed on this design has to do with hierarchy. There is no hierarchy in terms of placement of elements and text and the rest of them. There's no room for proximity, that is showing there's a relationship between a particular set of information elements by placing them side by side each other. And there's no room for contrast, that is creating space between other elements as well. In terms of white space as well, there's no room for the information on the design to actually breathe. So in this design, I'll be walking you through on how to actualize this. Okay, so guys, if this sounds like what you're actually interested in and you're new to the channel, okay, do well to smash the subscribe button if you have not done that. Smash the subscribe button and turn on the post notification bell to get notification whenever I upload new content on my channel. And if you're a returning subscriber, guys, thank you for always watching. So let's dive into the design phase. So the first thing I'd like to do here is to create a new document. So over here, we have the new document panel that comes up, okay? Here I'll be calling the project by giving it a name, call it skills to be precise. Skills is the title for the project. So I'll be setting my units of measurement on pixels, and this content will be making use of the Instagram portrait frame size, okay? And the Instagram portrait frame size is 1080 by 1350 to be precise. The resolution for this, I'll leave it on 300. I need the pixels to be as neat as possible. The color mode remains on RGB because this design will be used on mobile devices, PCs, and other gadgets as well. So after I'm done with that, I'll leave other settings the way they are and click on the create button. So guys, here's the Canva workspace on which I'll be designing on, okay? But before designing, I would like to drag in all the resources I'll be using for the design, okay? Do well to check the video description. I'll paste a link to the exercise file I'll be using for this tutorial. So guys, here are the exercise files I'll be using for this tutorial video. Do well to check the video description for the link to the exercise files, okay? So the first phase of this design has to do with creating a good layout, okay? So first thing first, I would like to pick my brush tool here to give you a preview of how I intend to create my layout, okay? Over here, I'll be placing in an image of a guy or a tech personnel making use of a PC, okay? Because the flyer has to do with acquiring digital and creative skills, okay? On this end, okay? And I'll create a PC illustration on this other end as well, like this, okay? While on this far end, I'll be placing a gadget that has to do with photography, and the rest of them are this other far end, to be precise, okay? So after I'm done with the image, I have to do with layouts in terms of my information. So over here, I'd like to place in the logo of the brand at this end, while on this other end, I would like to place in, okay, the theme of the event, okay, and over here, I'll be placing in the list of skills that will be offered in the class, okay. While over here, I'll be placing in the date for registration, when it's going to begin. Likewise, the venue as well will be placed here, okay. Then the registration link should be around here, and over here I'll place in the information that has to do with the registration is totally free. You're not paying for it. While at this other bottom end here, the bottom end here, I'll be placing an information of the sponsor of the program, okay, which is Access Bank, to be precise. So this is how I intend to carry out the layout in terms of carrying out the project. So this is like a preview of how my Canva will be looking at the end of the whole design, okay. So let's dive into the design phase. So the first thing I'd like to do is to has to do with creating of the background, okay. But before doing that, I have to enable this set of images I'll be using for the background purpose, okay. For this, I'll select this. I'll right click and convert it to a smart object. Converting a layer to a smart object enable you to maintain quality whenever you scale it up and scale it down without losing the image quality. So I've right click and convert it to a smart object. Same here, I'll enable this, select this, right click and convert it to a smart object so that it will maintain its actual quality. So I'll select this layer, hit Ctrl T, hold Alt and scale out like this. So I'll place this around somewhere like this on my Canva, scale this down properly. I think something like this is actually okay. Something like this is actually okay. So after I'm done with this, I can choose to hit the check button for that. Okay, that is in terms of this. Okay, so the next thing I would like to do is to enable this as well. Hit Ctrl T and drag and place it around somewhere here like this. Hold Alt, left click and drag to scale it out. Check. But this, I would like to take this at the top like this so that you have a good preview of what I'm actually trying to illustrate over here. Okay, so this is how this will be looking like at the moment. So I'll drag this over here to be precise. Okay, for this, I'll select the background layer, come over here, enable my swatches. Okay, these are the set of colors I'll be using for this tutorial purpose. So I'll come to the adjustments, select the solid color to be precise. So I'll select this particular color over here. Okay, after I'm done, I'll click on the OK button. Okay, that is in terms of that. Now you notice this is not actually visible, but I like to blend this image with the background. So I will try to reduce the opacity for this image to about 12 pixels to be precise. While for this, I would like to enable it so that it will be more visible as well. Leave it the way it is at the moment. Come over here, select the solid color and sample this color. Okay, here are the hex code to the color I'm actually using for this. While for this, I would like to also change the blending mode for this as well. So I'll come over here and look for a blending mode that will work perfectly. I think this works perfectly well for this. Okay, so I would like to create a smooth transition between this image and this image. How do I go about that? I'll have to select this image over here, add the vector marks on the panel here, press G on the keyboard. Okay, make sure this is selected and set your foreground to black. Okay, make sure this is actually selected. The foreground should be at the front. The black should be at the front, the white should be at the back. So you can use X to switch in between the foreground and the background to be precise. So after doing that, make sure this is set on linear gradients to be precise. So you come over here, left click, hold shift and brush out gently like this to create a smooth transition. Okay, so you can also come over here like this and do this like this. I think this is actually looking nice. Okay, guys, that's in terms of that. I can still choose to come over here, select this image. Okay, that is the photography image over here. Place it around here, scale this down properly and place it around somewhere here like this so that it will blend in perfectly well without the edges looking so obvious on this edge. Okay, so after we are done with this, I would like to move to the next. Okay, but before moving forward, I'd like to group this set of layers together. So I'll select this layer, hold shift, select this other layer by holding shift, hit Ctrl G. Ctrl G enables you to group, so you can double click on this and call this BG, which actually stands for my background. BG stands for the background. Okay, that is in terms of the background. So before proceeding, I always want to create a feel of orderliness in my design. Okay, so in order for me to create a feel of orderliness, I'll come over here on view and set up my guide's parameters to be precise. And here are the parameters I use in setting up my guides. So I'll click on the OK button. Okay, so these guides enable me to actually structure other elements in this Canva properly well without having any issue. Okay, so after I'm done with this, I'll start by enabling the logo of the brand. So I'll drag and place it around somewhere like this. Okay, this is the main essence of me placing the guide, to actually create room for structure. Okay, so one of the good quality of any design project is the design should be able to control the eye movements of my target audience or the target audience. So here I'll be placing in the logo of the brand over here. Okay, I hit Ctrl H to hide the guide. So I'll come over here, pick my text tool. So I'll come over here, left click and paste in the theme of the event. Okay, so I'll try to like restructure it this way to be precise, using the left alignment. For this, I'll be making use of Montserrat to be precise for this. Okay, and this will be set on extra bold. Okay, so after I'm done, I would like to scale this up properly, hitting Ctrl T and scaling it up properly like this, and set it to overlap with the guides to be precise. Okay, so after you're done with that, you can still hit Ctrl T, scale it down a little like this. I think this is okay like this. Okay, so after you're done creating this and resizing this, all you have to do is to hit Ctrl J to make a duplicate. Okay, so after you're done hitting Ctrl J and making the duplicate, you can now choose to change the color fill of each of these two layers. Okay, for this, I'll come over here on the character panel, expand all the way to the colors picker. Okay, on the color picker here, I'll be selecting this color. Here's the hex code for the color. I'll click on the OK. For this as well, I'll come over here on the character panel, expand the color and sample the color from my swatches as well to this, and click on the OK button respectively. For this, I'll come over here and change the blending mode to color dodge. While for this, I'll change this to linear dodge to be precise. Okay, so now you have a good preview of how this is actually looking like. Okay, so I can select both layer, hit Ctrl G to group them and call them the theme of the event. Okay, I'm trying to organize my layers by grouping them so that I won't have multiple layers on my layer panel. Okay, so after we're done with that, the next thing to do is to adjust its position. I think this is okay like this. So come over here, pick the rectangle tool from my tool here and create a rectangle of something of about this size like this. Is okay like this. Okay, so after I'm done, I'll come over here, click on the fill. Okay, expand and change this using this. Okay, so I'll be using this color to be precise for this. Okay, so after I'm done with that, I'd like to change the blending mode so that it will blend in with the background perfectly well. Okay, so that is in terms of that. So the next thing I would like to do is to start placing in other information for the design. Okay, so I'll adjust this like this and start placing in the various skills that will be taught. So I'll come here, left click and paste in the skills that will be taught. Okay, social media and digital marketing is one of the skills. Photography, web design, okay, skit making and production should be here. I think this is okay like this. So after we are done with this set of information, I would like to come over here and place it on top this region like this. Okay, so I'll come over here on the character panel, increase the leadings, that is space between the text like this. Okay, I can make a quick selection of this, okay, by dragging this first at the top of this layer here. Make sure it's at the top. Hold Ctrl to select the rectangle, select the text layer, pick your move to align this horizontally and vertically inside the space, hit Ctrl D to actually deselect. Okay, that is in terms of that, guys. You can still adjust this by setting this on bold, and you can still adjust the space between this text a little bit. I think this is okay. So I'll come over here, adjust the tracking a little bit, the leadings a little bit, adjust the size of the information by hitting Ctrl T and transform it down, hit Ctrl H to hide, and this is how this is actually looking like at the moment. Okay, so after that, I would like to drag this information and place it around somewhere here like this. Okay, so for this, I'll set this on bold to be precise. Okay, adjust the spacing between the text a little bit. Okay, so after you're done, you can choose to scale it up, the information, scale it up properly well. So you can choose to resize and place your information around somewhere here like this. Okay, that is in terms of that. Okay, so you pick your text tool and adjust this other information so that it will start on the other line as well. Hit Ctrl T, scale it up properly as well. Check. Adjust this over here for now. Okay, while for this, I'll be changing the fill color for this line of information. So I'll come over here, change the fill from this to this. I have a color over here, so I'll sample this color over here. Okay, that's the color I'll be using for that. Okay, here is the hex. So here is the hex code for the color I'm using at that end. Okay, so I'll check for this as well. I like to sample the color as well. So I'll pick the color over here as well, like this, and sample it from here. Check. Okay, on this end as well, select this, come over here, sample the color. Check. For this as well, you select the fold number and use your color picker to pick the color like this as well. I think that is in terms of that. Okay, so the next thing I like to do is to try to play with hierarchy in terms of text. Okay, for this, I like to select the first line of text and set this on semi-bold to be precise. While for this, I like to select it and set it on semi-bold as well. For this, I like to set this all the way to here on bold. Okay, they're already on bold. While for this, I'll set it on medium. Okay, this should be set on medium as well. So I'll set this on medium. This should be set on bold as well. Okay, I think this is actually okay like this. So I can hit enter to create a room for the information to actually breathe perfectly. Okay, so hit enter. I think this is okay. Adjust the space like this. Okay, so after we are done with this, I also want to work on this as well, on this particular set of information. So I'll come over here, pick my text tool. For this, I'll set this on bold. This should be on bold. Okay, so I'll change this on bold, still maintaining the same one throughout. For this, I'll be changing this to medium. Okay, while for the actual link, I'll be setting the link on bold to be precise. Okay, I think that is okay. So the next thing I'd like to do is to give you the same fill color as this as well. So I'll sample the color from here, click on OK, come over here, sample the color as well. From over here as well, I think we are good to go. That is in terms of that. So I will come and drag and place it around somewhere here like this. Ctrl T, scale it down properly. Okay, so you can scale it down like this. Pick your text to increase the size for this only. So I can increase this and adjust the space between the text. Okay, check. Okay, for this other set of information, I also like to adjust the space like this. Okay, so select this, hit enter, select this, hit enter as well. select this. I think this is okay like this. So Ctrl H, this is like a preview of how this should be looking like. Okay, Ctrl H to enable the guides. Pick your rectangle tool over here and come over here and create a rectangle of this size. Okay, and give it a white fill to be precise. Okay, so this is where I'll be placing in the access logo. So I'll Ctrl T, bring it over here, scale it down and place it in here to be precise. Pick the text tool, left click and paste in this text over here. Okay, for this I'll be setting this on bold to be precise. Okay, so after we are done, we can choose to place this over here and change the fill color to a lighter value of black, not a darker value. So like this value of black is okay. Okay, so I'll select both layers and group them. So I can call this sponsor, Ctrl A, hold Ctrl and make a quick selection, hold Ctrl, left click on this rectangle over here. Notice the mouse pointer changes to this when I hold Ctrl. Make a quick selection of the rectangle, align horizontally and vertically, Ctrl D. I can still resize it a little bit like this. Okay, and I can still bring this side by side like this and still align it properly to the middle. That is in terms of that. And hit Ctrl H to hide the guides to be precise. Okay, that is in terms of that, guys. So after we are done with this, I would like to still add a fill of depth, okay, by enabling this and taking it to around somewhere here like this. I think this is okay like this. The first thing I would like to do is to change the fill color. So I apply the hues and saturation, click mask this, click on this hand icon to sample a color along this region and play with the hues to be precise. Okay, I want to give it like similar feel of blue, and the lightness as well needs to be adjusted a little bit as well. I think this is okay like this. So I pick my text to left click and type in the free text. So I'll type in free over here, change the fill color to white. Okay, that is in terms of that. I can still scale it up, maintaining the same Montserrat for this as well. So I will scale this up and set it on extra bold to be precise. Okay, so I can come over here, hit Ctrl J to make a duplicate of it. Select, pick both layers, hit Ctrl T and place it around here like this. I think this is okay. So the next thing I would like to do here is to actually change the blending mode for both layers. Okay, so I'm maintaining the same white, but I'll change this to, let me see, I think overlay is okay. For this individually, I would like to double click on the layer, come over here, add the drop down shadow. I think I'll set this as this. Okay, set the drop down shadows as follows. So I'll hold Alt on my keyboard, drag my mouse where I have the FX icon and drag the effect and apply it on this other layer over here. Okay, so I can hold Shift, select both layers, hit Ctrl G. Okay, I can call this free text. That is in terms of that. Okay, so I think I'm almost done with that. The next thing I would like to do is to resize it a little bit. I think this is still big. Okay, I think this is okay like this, or Ctrl Z to undo. I think this is actually nice like this. Okay, so I think ladies and gentlemen, we're actually doing well. So let me scale this up a little and apply a fill of color lookups, okay, to give it a final touch. Okay, so you can come to color lookups and apply a color lookups to this, and it will be looking like this, something like this. So we can play around with any of the color lookups, and you have different preview of how it feels on the project. Okay, so I think we are able to achieve this project. Okay, so earlier I made mention that the project was actually lacking hierarchy. Hierarchy has to do with in terms of size of the text. Okay, the whole text will maintaining the same size structure. Okay, so if you notice here, the theme of the event is much bolder than every other text on this design canvas. We talked about proximity, placing information that has relationships side by side each other. If you notice, the registration link is placed side by side with this. Okay, the inquiry and the phone number are placed side by side. The skills that which is to be taught are placed side by side each other. Okay, and my team, I find a way to actually structure it so that they can be placed side by side. Okay, and I also created room for white space and for the information and other elements to actually breathe. Okay, and if you notice, that design was actually clustered. Okay, I also create room for contrast in the sense that I play with size of elements. Okay, I play with colors, using different shades of colors. In terms of that, I even make use of shadows. Okay, those are one of the ways you can actually create contrast, by creating space, by playing with sizes, by using colors, by applying shadows. Those are one of the ways you can actually create contrast. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of today's tutorial video. If you find this video helpful in one way or the other, do well to give this video a like. If you are new to the channel and you enjoy this video and you like to see more content, do well to smash the subscribe button. If you have not done that, smash the subscribe button and turn on the post notification bell to get notification whenever I upload new content. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you guys for always watching. If you have any question, any comments, you can leave the questions and comments in the comment section. Thank you guys for watching, and see you in the next.